Hello, my name is Lillian Okibe. Welcome to my channel. Are you experiencing hair loss? Is your hair falling out in like huge balls and clumps and like you're so confused, you don't know what to do, you don't know what is causing it? Then you definitely want to keep on watching this video, because in this video I'm going to be telling you why your hair is falling out, and I'm also going to be giving you solutions or like how to fix the hair loss or like the hair fall. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, then definitely keep on watching. If your hair is falling, if you're experiencing like huge amount of hair loss, the first thing you want to do, you want to ask yourself 3 questions. The first question is, am I sick? Then the second question is, am I on medication? Then the third question you want to ask yourself is, how is my diet? So many people, when they notice that their hair is falling out, the first thing they think about is the products they are using. Oh, it must be this product I'm using. What product can I use to help me fix it? But most times the reason behind hair fall for many people is not usually because of things that are outside. It's not because of external factors. It's mostly because of things that are happening inside their body. So most times it's as a result of sickness, medication that they are taking, or their diet. So if you're not sick, the only way to know if you're sick, because there are some illnesses have like obvious symptoms. You're going to be, maybe you're probably going to have fever or like things, you're going to feel weak and things like that. But there are certain illnesses that do not have like physical symptoms, in the sense that you're not going to feel that you're sick. You're going to feel really healthy, but you actually have something that is going on within you. So if you're noticing severe hair fall, I would recommend that the first thing you want to check is go to your doctor to see if it's not something that is happening within your body, if it's not because you are sick, because there are certain sicknesses that can cause hair fall. Now after you sorted that out, you know you're not sick, you're 100% healthy. Next thing you want to ask yourself is, am I on medication? If you're on medication, then you really want to speak with your doctor, because there are certain drugs that actually cause hair fall. Example of this is antidepressant. So if you're someone that is battling with depression and you're always on medication, antidepressants, there's a high chance that your hair loss is as a result of the drugs that you're taking, because a huge number of antidepressants have the side effect of hair fall. So if you're suffering from something like depression, then it may be that your medication is the cause of the hair loss. So you may want to speak with your doctor to put you on a different medication that will not result in hair loss for you. Now the next question you want to ask yourself is your diet, and I feel like this is the part that many people overlook. And most times, like for many people, their hair fall is not really as a result of sickness or medication. Many people, it's as a result of their diet. And I keep saying this over and over and over again. Your diet is so important if you want your hair to grow long, to grow healthy, to remain on your head. If you don't want it to fall out, your diet is so important. Now there are certain vitamins, there are certain nutrients that the body needs, that the hair needs to flourish. And the thing about the hair, like I always keep telling you guys, is that the hair is not a major organ of the body. So if your body is not getting enough nutrients, the little nutrients that your body is getting, your body is going to be pumping into the other organs that are important, because there are certain organs that without them you will not be alive. So of course the body is going to be pumping the nutrients to those organs, so you have absolutely nothing for your hair. And because your hair requires all those nutrients to grow healthy and to flourish, if the hair is not getting those nutrients, then it's going to fall out. So that's why you experience a lot of hair fall when your diet is not like on point. And I feel like this is actually where so many people that suffer from postpartum hair loss fall into. This is actually this category that they fall into. Now for many pregnant women, many people just feel like, oh, postpartum hair loss is normal. When you give birth, after like a few months after you give birth, it's normal for you to experience hair loss. Now there are certain people there are several women that actually do not experience any form of postpartum hair loss. So it's not like it is nature's way, like you must experience postpartum hair loss. I feel like the reason why studies have shown that pregnant women are usually deficient in zinc, for example. And zinc is something, and most people that experience hair fall have deficiency in zinc. So some studies have actually linked deficiency in zinc in pregnant women to be one of the causes of postpartum hair loss. So let me explain. This is my own hypothesis. I feel that and I have heard this so many times, so many pregnant women say that, oh, when I got pregnant, like my hair grew so much, it grew so long, it flourished and everything like that. But as soon as I gave birth, like it's like all the hair that grew before just started to fall out. It's nature. Now let me tell you what I think. Let me tell you my own hypothesis. So for many people, when they are pregnant, at that point when they are pregnant, they usually pamper themselves. At that point, many people have cravings to eat. Many people are usually on a lot of vitamin supplements just to make sure that their baby, the baby that is inside of them, is getting all the nutrients that it can get. People are usually very compassionate to pregnant women. Most times they do not experience as much stress. They rest, they get enough sleep, you know. They are eating really healthy because they are trying to prepare their body for the baby that is about to come. And that's why most times at that point when many people are pregnant, their body, because of the healthy lifestyle, their body is usually like really healthy. Their body is usually getting more than enough nutrients than it actually needs to flourish. And at that point, the baby is still very little. Like baby, this is the forming point of the baby, so you're not really, yeah, your body needs more nutrients, of course, but because you are pumping enough nutrients into your body, like it's getting more than enough, so you have excess nutrients to pump into your hair. And that's why many people experience hair growth, thickening of hair while they are pregnant. So as soon as they give birth to their baby, for many people, the attention shifts from the pregnant woman to the baby. Like everybody's talking about the baby. Has the baby eaten? How is the baby? Is the baby okay? All the attention is shifted to the baby. Many pregnant women no longer get enough sleep because they are trying to care for their baby. Babies come with a lot of a lot of stress, you know, so they stop getting enough sleep. Many times they forget to eat. Many pregnant women have things like loss of appetite. So at that point when they are pregnant, after they give birth, they actually stop living. Many people stop having the healthy lifestyle that they used to have while they were pregnant. And in addition to that, when you give birth, many people actually breastfeed their children. So apart from the fact that your body is not getting enough nutrients anymore because you're no longer eating right, your diet is no longer as on point as it used to be. The supplements I used to take before to help your baby, you know, grow, like to help your baby form in your womb, you're no longer taking them, and your eating habit is totally bad. You're not getting enough sleep, you're not getting enough rest and things like that. You still have to breastfeed your baby. So the little nutrients that you have in your body, you are still sharing between you and your baby. And that's why at that point, because the body is not getting all the nutrients that it actually needs, all the hair that you may have grown before, that your body was getting enough nutrients, is going to fall out because now you are deficient in very important nutrients. And that's why so many people experience postpartum hair loss. Studies have actually shown that people who make it a conscious effort to eat healthy before pregnancy, during pregnancy and after pregnancy have a lower chance of experiencing postpartum hair loss. And that thing that also contributes to people experiencing those postpartum hair loss is that the society also does not make it easier for us women. I'm not pregnant yet, but like society does not make it easier for us. Everyone is looking for, oh, you need to get your body back, you need to snatch back to your pre-pregnancy body. And so as soon as many people give birth, apart from the fact that they are all stressed and things like that, they are not getting enough nutrients, they are also going on diet to reduce their weight. And so by doing that, they are cutting out of some nutrients that their body actually needs to flourish, and that also contributes to their hair fall. So if you are pregnant and you're suffering from hair loss, by just making it a conscious effort, or like if you are suffering from postpartum hair loss, by just making it a conscious effort to eat healthy and just make sure that your body is getting all the nutrients that it possibly can, you're going to see a major difference in like the health of your hair, and the hair loss is going to reduce drastically. So the next thing that can be causing your hair fall is the products you use. Generally, the more natural the ingredients, many people just go to the supermarket or like go to the shop and buy products without really knowing their ingredients. There are certain ingredients that will cause hair fall because of like the more natural the products they are using, the better for you, like better for your hair in general. My mom used while I was growing up, when I was much younger, I used to have this phobia for conditioner, and that's because my mom told me a story that the first time she ever used conditioner, she bought the conditioner, she applied on her hair, left it for just a few minutes, and by the time she was rinsing out the conditioner, like her hair started falling out in like clumps and clumps and clumps, you know. So that just gave me this whole phobia for conditioner that like my mom always says that conditioner breaks hair, like conditioner will cut your hair, just because of that experience that she had. And over time I've come to see that it's not just like a general rule that conditioner in general breaks hair, but the kind of conditioner that you use breaks hair. Now there are some store-bought conditioners, whether deep conditioner or like rinse out conditioners, that contain ingredients that are not the best for you. Now those ingredients can cause hair fall. There are some conditioners, let me not mention names but there are some conditioners that contain ingredients that are like relaxers, like they are semi relaxers. So by the time you constantly use those products that contain all these harmful chemicals, it's just a matter of time before your hair starts to react and starts to fall out. Generally, the more natural the ingredients of your products are, the better for you. Now I'm not saying that all chemicals are bad. There are some chemicals that are not bad, but like I would say that just know your ingredients, know the ingredients of the products you are using. So if it's something, if you check the ingredient list and like you have something like high up on the ingredient list, like generally the higher up the product or like the ingredient is, the more concentration you have in the product. So you want to make sure that things that are of high concentration in your products are things that are natural. The more natural, the better. Now there are certain chemicals that are not bad. Not all chemicals are bad. So first though, like if you check your ingredient list and you see things that you're not familiar with, take your phone. That's why you have Google. There's so much information on Google. Google the ingredients, Google it, know what it is, know what it does, know like the side effects, the like the advantages and things like that before you go out to buy your products. Don't just buy things because of name or because of brands. Know the ingredients in the products that you're buying. That will just help you get better results, because some hair companies out there, they are not looking out for you. They are just there to make quick money. They're just there to make quick cash. So they use like cheap ingredients that are not the best for you, cheap ingredients that are harmful. So if you continue to use those products over time, your hair is going to start to fall out after a while. Now I believe many of you are aware of what happened with Diva Coil. So it's not just about the price of the products. There are certain products that may be expensive, but the ingredients in them are not the best. So do not put your health or like your safety in the hands of somebody else. Before you go out to buy any ingredients, read any product rather, read the ingredient list, know all the ingredients that they like, have an idea of what the ingredients are and like what they are, like the advantages that they bring to the table and like the disadvantages or like the side effects before you go out to buy any product. So the next thing that can be causing your hair fall, and I feel like this is number 2, like this is second to like the diet for most people, is rough detangling. Many people detangle their hair roughly. Now it does not matter whether you're using your fingers or you're using your tool. If you do not detangle your hair gently, you're going to experience hair fall, both breakage and shedding. There's some amount of, many people just say that if you experience hair fall, if you check the hair, if it is shedded hair, that's if you have those white bulbs on top of the hair, then you're fine. It's shed hair, you have nothing to worry about. But that's not totally true. Excessive shedding is not good. Like there's a certain amount of hair that is normal and a certain amount of hair that is abnormal, and that varies for different people. Like for me now, I usually do not lose that much hair, and that's because I've been able to master how to reduce hair loss for me over the years due to all these things, all these tips I'm sharing with you. I did not get here overnight. This is something that I've been through trial and error. I've been able to master the best technique or like the best things for me. So right now, like my hair loss has reduced drastically. So abnormal hair loss for me may be normal for somebody else, you know. So you just have to find out what is normal for you, the ball of hair that is normal for you per time that you handle your hair. You have to find out what is normal for you and what is abnormal. So when you start to notice like hair loss that is abnormal, then you know that there is something wrong and you need to find the solution to it. So like I was saying, rough detangling is like is the responsible for hair loss for many people. If you are detangling your hair, it doesn't matter what you are using to detangle your hair, whether you are using like a comb or your fingers. If just imagine someone else watching you detangle their hair, if you cannot imagine the person like having like a really relaxing session, then it's a high chance that you are being too rough with your hair. Detangling should not be painful. Detangling your hair should not be painful. Detangling your hair should not be it should not be war. It should not be war. It should not be fight. Nigerians understand what I'm trying to say. But basically, you should detangle your hair gently. If you're experiencing any form of pain when you're detangling your hair, like severe pain, then it's a high chance that you're being rough with your hair. And if you are rough with your hair, it doesn't matter if you're using all the best products in the world, it doesn't matter if your diet is on point, it doesn't matter if you're not sick or anything. If your detangling is rough, you're going to experience immense, like the high levels of hair loss. And if your hair is if you are constantly experiencing a lot of hair loss, then your hair is not going to grow full, it's not going to be thick, it's not going to grow long. So you really need to master gentle detangling your hair gently if you want to stop hair fall. So the next thing that can be causing your hair fall is tight hairstyles. Tight hairstyles will do you no good. If you're constantly wearing tight hairstyles, you're constantly putting tension on your hair, both on the hair strands and on the roots of your hair, and it's just a matter of time. Now at first, when you start doing it, depending on how like healthy and like how like strong your hair is, you may not notice any damage yet, but after a while, after some time, your hair is going to start to fall out in chunks, and you're going to, it's possible that even at that time you may not actually even be wearing any tight hairstyle, but because of years and years of tension that you've been putting your hair through, it may start to give way. So the final thing that can be causing your hair fall, and that by just switching this will just transform your hair, is water. Not getting enough water, not feeding your hair with enough water, both like drinking water and like feeding, like spraying water into your hair. Generally, I've noticed that I experience less breakage or like less hair loss or less hair fall when I handle my hair, like when I detangle my hair when it's wet or damp, as opposed to when it's dry. Detangling dry hair, if you are gentle, you can get away with detangling dry hair. I've detangled my hair dry so many times, like I do it like sometimes, you know, but generally you're going to experience less hair loss when you detangle your hair when there is water in it, like when it's wet or damp, as opposed to when it is dry. So as much as you can, make sure that you detangle your hair damp or wet, as opposed to detangling your hair when it's dry, especially if you're using a tool. Like if you're not using a tool, if you're finger detangling, you can really get away with detangling your hair when it's dry. But if you're using a comb or a brush, then I highly recommend that please do not detangle your hair when it is dry. Water helps to make your hair more flexible and more manageable so that it does not break. Now when I tell people that they should like increase how much they water their hair and how much they drink water, basically how much they hydrate their hair, people usually ask me that, hey Lillian, what I heard that like if you put too much water in your hair, you're going to get high growth fatigue. I've been hearing so many people have been saying that to me too. Now I used to think that too. I used to think that like if you like, water is a source of high growth fatigue. If you wet your hair too frequently, you're going to get high growth fatigue. Now the thing about high growth fatigue is that water alone does not cause high growth fatigue. Like if your hair is healthy, except if your hair is already damaged, then I'm not speaking for people that already have damaged hair, but like all things being equal, healthy hair, water will not damage your hair. Now I'm not saying that you should keep your hair wet all the time. Like there has to be a balance. Moderation is key. No matter what you do, moderation is key. That's why the fact that I say that you should increase the amount of water you feed your hair with. I'm not saying that your hair should remain wet 100% of the time. Like that is just totally wrong. If you pour water in your hair and you do not put loads and loads of products in your hair, within the next few hours, like if you actually go by using a dime size of products right, no matter how thick your hair is, if you really go by using a dime size of products and you do not wrap your hair up and tie your scalp or like wrap it, put it in a bun or things like that, let's say you wet your hair, you let your hair loose, right, you use like a dime size of products in your hair, within a few hours your hair is going to dry. Your hair is not going to remain wet for the whole day if you do not bound it or like bind it or anything like that. So that just goes to show that the head knows how, healthy hair knows how to react with water. It knows how to react with water, but you also have to find a balance. You don't want to keep your hair wet for extensive period of time. Now what causes high growth fatigue for many people is overdoing things like deep conditioning overnight, you know, things like that, where your hair is going to be left wet and soaking wet for extensive period of time. Also things like greenhouse method, what people do, like they soak their hair in water, wet their hair, and then they cover their hair with a plastic bag and leave it overnight, so that way your hair is going to remain mushy and wet for extensive period of time. And that thing that can cause high growth fatigue is doing things like overdoing deep conditioning with heat. Now heat acts as a catalyst, you know, so when you use heat to deep condition your hair, it's going to make the deep conditioning process faster. It's just like if you put your let's say your grain of what is it called, your grain of rice in water. If you put your grain of rice in water, if you leave it in that water for days, a time will come when the grain of rice will become soft, you know. It will be as soft as how it usually is when you cook your rice, you know. But now when you put your grain of rice in water and then you put heat, like put it on a stove and you start to cook, the heat just speeds up the whole process of cooking and like making the grain of rice to absorb the water, you know. So that's how heat is. Heat acts as a catalyst. So now there are certain people that will use heat to deep condition their hair. If you are using heat to deep condition your hair, you should be deep conditioning your hair within a shorter period of time, because you are using heat, because the heat will make your hair deep condition faster. Now if you apply your deep conditioner in your hair and you sit under a hooded dryer for like 2 hours until you are overcooking your hair, and what happens when you overcook rice? It's going to be too soft and mushy, and like you will not enjoy the rice. You will not enjoy the rice. You're not going to enjoy it. So that's the same principle also when people deep condition your hair. Heat acts as a catalyst. So when you use heat to deep condition your hair, you should not be deep conditioning your hair for that long, or as you should not be deep conditioning your hair for as long as someone else who does not use heat, like sitting under a dryer, you know. So you should bear that in mind. Those are the things that cause high growth fatigue. If you wet your hair from time to time, even if you wet your hair every day, and you do not layer so much products, like I told you guys in my how to moisturize your hair video, I talked about the role that products have to play in like moisturizing hair. Products help to keep the moisture in your hair longer, you know. So if you just do the experiment, if you on wash day you apply a lot of products, your hair is going to take longer to dry when you have more products in your hair, as opposed to when you don't have so much products in your hair. So for someone, just like I feel like when I give you tips here, I'm not giving you laws. Like that's the whole point of making all these videos, not so that you sit down and think about things, let them make sense for you and figure out what works for you. I'm not saying all these things to give you guys laws that, oh, you must follow this rule or you must follow this law. I kind of like give you guys my own point of view and like just inspire you to think for yourself, not just take what someone else says and use it like as a general law or like a general rule. So for someone, you can wet your hair every day, and like that's the difference between us and our men. You can wet your hair every day, it's not going to cause high growth fatigue if and only if you do what is right. What do I mean? If you are going to be wetting your hair every day and then you're going to be putting truckload of products in your hair that will keep the water in your hair for so long so that your hair will refuse to dry and to remain wet for like generally for many naturals, when they wash their hair and they apply so much products in their hair, it takes anything like from like 2 to 3 days for their hair to be completely dry. So you can just imagine someone wetting their hair every day and putting that quantity of a lot of products in their hair every day, such that their hair will not be dry. Every day you're wetting your hair and you're putting so much products in your hair that will keep the water in your hair for so long. Your hair is going to remain wet all week long, and that is not what you need. That's not your hair. The hair should not be wet all week long. But if you're like wetting your hair every day, you apply a dime size of products in your hair, before the end of that day, I'm going to tell you that your hair will dry. It will get dry. If you use a dime size, your hair will get dry, and in that case it will not be too much for you to wet your hair every day. I hope that makes sense. I just hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. So more water should mean less products. If you're going to be putting more water in your hair and you're going to be putting water in your hair more frequently, that should mean that you're going to be using other products less frequently. More water should mean less product. That's the logic behind it. Alright, so it's when you keep your hair wet for extensive period of time, soaking wet at once at a stretch, your hair is always wet, or you keep it soaking wet for extensive period of time, that is what will give you high growth fatigue. Not like if it were true that wetting your hair just water alone causes high growth fatigue, then all our men will have high growth fatigue by now, and I've never heard of a man that has a high growth fatigue. So that just goes to show you that water alone will not give high growth fatigue. It's the things we do after the water that is what destroys us. It is Oversabi. Overdo that is killing us. Now that we've talked about the causes of hair fall, let's get back to the solution. The number one solution that you can do is, when you know the cause, stop doing what you're doing that you know that is causing it. So if you are sick, get treatment. If you're on medication that is causing hair fall, speak with your doctor to look for a way to like switch to a different kind of medication that will not have that side effect. If your diet is not right, change that. Start eating healthy. If you're wearing tight hairstyles, stop wearing tight hairstyles. If you're not feeding your hair with enough water, start feeding your hair with enough water. If you are using products that have ingredients that are not the best for you, then you should stop that. Generally, all these causes I've told you guys, if you just stop doing what it is that is causing your hair fall, you're going to see obvious improvements in your hair. Now, if you want like to speed up the process, you can also incorporate some growth stimulating ingredients or like DIYs into your hair regimen, and that will help you in generally that will help you get results faster. So the number one thing, you guys that watch my videos can say it after me, number one thing that will help you to regrow your hair after experiencing hair fall is, yeah, say it, ginger helps. Ginger helps. I'm not even going to go about to start explaining and start talking long talk, but ginger is number one thing that you can try, incorporating ginger into your hair routine. I have a video here I'm going to leave it in the cards, where I share different ways that you can use ginger for your hair. And that thing you can use is onions. You actually use onions the exact way that I use ginger. So if you want to incorporate onions into your hair routine, I'll leave it here in the iCards. Now, I've actually tried using onions before, but the thing about onions is that the smell is a bit stronger, and like I just prefer the smell of ginger to onions, and they have like very, very similar effects. If you do not mind the smell, you can use both together. That will also greatly help. So those are the two things that will actually help you regrow your hair after suffering from hair fall. Those things have worked for me, and I keep preaching that to you guys because those things will help stimulate hair growth, will help revive the dormant hair follicles that may have suffered from different forms of trauma as a result of all these things I've mentioned. So with that, we've come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed to my channel already, make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in my next video.